Harambee Stars will kick off their 2025 AFCON qualifiers campaign with a match against Zimbabwe on Friday 6th at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Kampala, Uganda at 4 p.m. The Engine Firat Chargers then face Namibia on Tuesday 10th September at the Orlando Stadium in Johannesburg, South Africa at 7 p.m. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Ever crazy. Undoubtedly entertaining. And mind-boggling.
We are doomed. We are doomed. Members of Parliament, we are doomed. I'm telling you.
The savage netizens capturing that unique moment.
Well, it is exactly 2 minutes to the top of the hour. Welcome to our broadcast. But the country this afternoon is mourning following that particular tragic incident that befell Hillside Academy in Nyeri County. We have been able to dispatch our very abled Kevin Washira to that particular scene, and he will brief us to the progress that has been made within the institution following the death of young and bright souls, 17 of them, and others injured who are currently recuperating in various health facilities within the devolved unit. And of course, we'll get you details of that and so much more. The president, all the way from China, has condoled with the family, friends, as well as relatives and the schooling fraternity. The deputy president, prime cabinet secretary, former prime minister, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, among other leaders and officials within the country who have been able to condole with the family. And here from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, we do condole with you, families from Nyeri County, following that particular incident. Of course, the schooling fraternity at large as well in the country. Welcome to our broadcast at this hour. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshi. And of course, we start off with that note. And of course, the president also spoke on that particular issue. We're getting details of that and so much more at this hour. Also, we've heard from none other than the government spokesperson, that is Dr. Isaac Mwaura, just giving us a brief on what has transpired within the institution following that Thursday night inferno. In that particular statement, he has confirmed that at least 17 pupils or students have died following that particular tragic incident, with more than 14 others being taken to Mathare. Now, that is the information we have for you. 17 have been confirmed dead, while 14 have been injured in that particular statement that has been issued by the government spokesperson, that is Isaac Mwaura. Now, the affected are the dormitory that housed boys from grades 4 to 8. A total of 156 boys who are residing in that particular dormitory. Now, emergency services are still determining the final number of of fatalities, with updates to follow as more information becomes available. Right now, the government agencies as well as security operators have boots on the ground. You can see that was the earliest scenes this morning once the parents as well as investigators who had flocked to the institution following that particular incident. In that particular statement, some of the ongoing intervention that the government has put in place is the dry foods and supply of 50 bags of rice and 50 bags of beans are en route to the site via these special programs. 100 mattresses and 100 blankets are also being dispatched, with an estimated arrival, of course, will be in the next few minutes or so. They will be able to receive those supplies. Medical supplies also are currently on the way, with the Ministry of Health and the County Government Health Department of Nyeri on site assessing the medical needs of the students as well who are residing in that particular institution during that particular Thursday night incident. The Pangjan Foundation has donated 50 first aid kits, which will be also sent to the institution. MP Shah Hospital is also sending medical consumables. The State Department of Education, led by none other than the Cabinet Secretary, that is Honorable Migos, are also reaching out there. We want to show you what the President, all the way from China, he was able to tell some of these parents who have lost their loved ones in that particular tragic accident. Now, the President, in a statement online, clearly condoled with the family members, urging them to wage on as investigations are ongoing. Now, the President said, and I quote, "Our thoughts are with the families of the children who have lost their lives." There you have it. That is the message of the President, who is currently in China. He clearly states, and I quote, "Our thoughts are with the families of the children who have lost their loved ones." And currently the government is ongoing with investigations to ascertain what truly transpired in the country. And of course, he has instructed relevant authorities to thoroughly investigate the horrific incident. Those responsible will be held accountable. He clearly further on stated that the government, under the Ministry of Interior and coordination of the national government, is mobilizing necessary resources to support the affected families. Aside from the President, other leaders who have been able to touch upon, there you have it, is the Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi. He says, "I join the nation in expressing my deepest condolences to the families and loved ones affected by the tragic fire at Hillside and Academy in Kieni, Nyeri County, which has claimed the precious lives of young pupils. As investigations proceed, we trust that every effort will be made to uncover the root cause of this heartbreaking incident, ensuring accountability and justice for all involved. In this time of sorrow, may the Lord help the bereaved families find strength and comfort during this difficult period. I wish a quick recovery for those injured and recuperating at the hospital." Aside from the Prime Cabinet Secretary, let's take a look at some of the other leaders who have been able to condole with the families. In a tweet, Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister, who is also currently in China, has tweeted that "My heartfelt condolences go out to the families, friends and school fraternity who have lost their loved ones in a devastating fire tragedy at the Hillside Academy. May God grant them all the strength during these difficult moments and a swift recovery for those injured." And at least one more from the country's second-in-command, who has clearly stated he will be heading over to Nyeri and especially to Hillside Academy to condole with the family and students. Now, before I take this next story, let me just read a post from the country's second-in-command, was clearly stated, "I have learnt with a deep sadness the tragic deaths of pupils of Hillside Academy following that particular fire incident." The country's second-in-command further stated, "We join with the families, the school and the rest of the country in mourning these young departed souls." He further goes on to say, "We pray for a quick recovery of the survivors of this inferno. May God grant the families the fortitude to bear the loss. We ask schools to enforce safety and security measures as outlined by the Ministry of Education and other agencies to avert such incidences." Those are the words from our leaders and many other leaders who have been able to condole with the various families. And of course, we have dispatched our able reporter, that is Kevin Washira, who will be linking up with any moment from now just to give us a status update on what is currently happening at the Hillside Academy. Now, the history of school fires in Kenya. In 1991, set Kizito Secondary Secondary School, Tigania fire. Of course, 19 girls died after boys stormed their dormitory. In 1998, 26 girls died at the Bomululu Girls Secondary School in Mazeras. In 2001, 67 boys died at Kanyunguli Secondary School in Machakos County. In 2010, at Arusha Boys Secondary School, 2 students died. In 2012, Asumbi Girls Boarding Primary School, and 8 students died. That is the history of fire incidences that have been witnessed in our various institutions. Now, 2017, Moi Girls High School and 10 students perished in that particular incident. This is the history that we have for you, our viewers. In 2017, there you have it, Moi Girls High School, 10 students perished. And of course, we have witnessed in various institutions across the country. And this is the current situation. The history of school fires within the country, you've seen, we've gone back as late as in the 90s, and we are continuing with in 1991. There you have it, St. Kizito Secondary School, Tigania fire. In 1998, 26 girls died, unfortunately, at the Bomululu Girls Secondary School in Mazeras. In 2001, 67 boys died at the Kanyugulu Secondary School in Machakos. In 2010, at Arusha Boys Secondary School, unfortunately, 2 students there perished. The history goes on. In 2012, Asumbi Girls Boarding Primary School, where 8 students unfortunately died. In 2017, Moi Girls High School, where 10 students have perished. And of course, the latest incident being the Hillside Academy. And we'll also have for you those details for you in just a few. But if you're just joining us, our dear viewers, we're trying to look at this particular incident that has just befell Hillside Academy. And the President William Ruto has, of course, condoled with the family of the deceased pupils and assuring them that there will be swift action into the people who were able to have a hand in this particular tragedy. The President also assuring that the family members will get all the appropriate. There you have it. Let me quote the President. Our thoughts are with the families of the children who have lost their lives in the fire tragedy at the Hillside and Arusha Academy in Nyeri County. This is devastating news. We pray for speedy recovery to the survivors. I instruct relevant authorities, he goes on to say in that particular statement, where he has directed the relevant authorities to look into that particular matter. And of course, the people who are behind this particular tragedy that has led to the loss of lives be brought to book to thoroughly investigate this horrific incident. Those responsible will be held accountable. The government, under the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of the national government, is mobilizing all the necessary resources to support the affected family. Poleni sana. Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, I join the nation in expressing my deepest condolences to the families and loved ones affected by the tragic fire at the Hillside and Arusha Academy in Kieni, Nyeri County, which claimed the precious lives of young pupils. Now, as investigations proceed, of course, he has urged for caution and for prayers of the families. We trust that every effort will be made to uncover the root cause of this heartbreaking incident, ensuring accountability and justice for all involved. In the same time of sorrow, may the Lord help the family, of course, the friends and the members of the society in that particular devolved unit and the country at large. The bereaved families find strength and comfort during this difficult period. I wish a quick recovery for those injured and recuperating at the hospital. Aside from the Prime Cabinet Secretary, we also do have the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who is currently in China, of course, with the President. He tweeted that my heartfelt condolences goes out to the families, friends and school fraternity who have lost their loved ones in the devastating fire tragedy at the Hillside and Arusha Academy. May God grant them all the strength during these difficult moments and swift recovery for those injured. We already have boots on the ground. As I told you earlier on, we do have Kevin Washira at the Hillside Academy, and he'll be briefing us in just a few. If my director could show you some of the images we do have for you from Hillside Academy, and we'll be showing you that particular scenes that have been there. We do have government officials who have gone there. If my director can be able to show you some of the images we do have from Hillside Academy since morning. Investigators have already arrived. There you have it. Those are the images we do have for you From the Hillside Academy, investigators are already on the boot. Government officials are also on the ground. And of course, we'll be getting more from our very own Kevin Washira, who is currently at the Hillside Academy, to just bring us up to speed. You can see members of the society, parents of that particular institutions, as well as tutors have congregated to condole with the family members. Those are the images we have for you from Hillside Academy. Now, the Ministry of Education has just released a statement, and it reads like: the Ministry of Education deeply regrets to announce the tragic fire incident at the Hillside Academy in Kieni West Sub-County. And of course, the Ministry, they are condoling with the family members. The fire incident has left 14 other students there injured and are being attended to in various hospitals. The school has a total of 824. Of this 824, 402 are boys, while 422 are girls. Of the total enrollment of the 824 learners in that particular institution, 156 are boys, 160 are girls, boarders, while the rest are day scholars. All the 156 boys boarders were accommodated in the ill-fated dormitory that unfortunately we have seen 17 souls lost. The ministry further states that the ministry is currently working with the Ministry of Interior and National Administration and the Ministry of Health to manage the situation and ensure the injured learners are given the best medical attention. In line with the Excellency President William Ruto's directive, the Ministry of Education, coordinating with the various other security apparatus within the country to investigate the root cause of the fire incident at the institution. The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Julius Amigos Ogamba, who has been on an official trip in China, is on his way back to join our local teams to ensure the situation is addressed with utmost urgency. In the meantime, the ministry is currently urging that the ground leading to the local multi-agency team to manage the situation as and when the Cabinet Secretary, of course, arrives in the country. He was with the President. The Ministry of Education, of course, sends its sincere and heartfelt condolences to the parents, families and friends of the learners who lost their lives in that particular tragedy. And on that particular note, we need to take our first commercial break. It is exactly 14 minutes past the hour. And of course, here from the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, once more, we do want to offer our condolences to the family, friends, relatives, as well as the school fraternity within the devolved unit and the country at large following that particular tragic incident. Don't go too far. We'll be linking up with our reporter who's currently on the ground. That is Kevin Washira, up next.
Is the second leading cause of cancer deaths among women in Kenya.
What cancer does is your normal cells grow and outgrow. They proliferate, grow really, really fast, you know. Imagine like when your tea is boiling and it just flames up.
Harambee Stars will kick off their 2025 AFCON qualifiers campaign with a match against Zimbabwe on Friday 6th at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Kampala, Uganda at 4 p.m. The Engine Firat Chargers then face Namibia on Tuesday 10th September at the Orlando Stadium in Johannesburg, South Africa at 7 p.m. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Is the second leading cause of cancer deaths among women in Kenya.
What cancer does is your normal cells grow and outgrow. They proliferate, grow really, really fast, you know. Imagine like when your tea is boiling and it just flames up. And that growth overwhelms the blood supply, so tissues begin to rot and fall off.
Adults need to have 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week. Be open to the possibility of screening.
So this is the kit itself. It is as easy as the way a lady would use a tampon.
This is Health and Lifestyle, where we talk all matters health.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It is exactly 17 minutes past the hour. We'll be linking up with our reporter Kevin Washira, who will be near to brief us on the status update following that particular tragic incident. Government boots are already on the ground assessing that particular situation. We've even seen the DCI on the ground already, of course, leading the National Police Service in that particular endeavor. And as and when we get any development, we'll be sharing them with you. Now, on a similar story in Makueni County, where Makueni County woman member of the National Assembly, that is Rose Museo, is calling for a shift in policy to protect learners in schools against arson and other forms of fires. The lawmaker says she is concerned about the rise in the cases of school fires, which continue to leave a trail of destruction and death in parts of Makueni County. The latest incident occurred at St. Peter's, Kithuki, and other in Mayani, Makueni County, which led to the destruction of property valued at millions of shillings.
Ama tuko na concern kubwa sana vile watoto wameanza kuchoma mashule. Kila mahali unasikia kwamba watoto wamechoma shule. Hili ni jambo ambalo ni mzigo mkubwa kwa wazazi na pia kwa jamii. Na tukiangalia hali ya maisha jinsi ilivyo, tunaona ya kwamba wazazi wenyewe wanang'ang'ana kutafuta school fees, alafu watoto wakienda shule tunaona wanachoma shule. Hili ni jambo ambalo serikali tungependa ikaweze kuangalia kwa umakini ili watoto wetu wakaweze kutulia wakiwa shule.
Still on education matters, a section of education stakeholders from Bungoma County is calling on teachers to work hard to recover the lost week of studies occasioned by this strike. While addressing the press at the Cardinal Otunga Girls High School during a spot check across several schools, the County Director of Education, Pius Ngoma, urged the teachers to go all out and ensure learners recover what they had lost during the strike, adding that exams are just around the corner.
So as you are back, as you have agreed on the return to work formula, let us try to cover up the work lost, because exams are there, they have been set, and all we must give our best.
Stakeholders in the education sector have engaged students from Rongo University in Migori County to educate them on the new funding model and better career choices. Rongo University Acting Chancellor Samuel Gudu reiterated that the need to have the education stakeholders sensitize the student to better understand the new funding model as a way to improve its implementation and create awareness. The stakeholders also urged students to acquire technological skills, noting that employers are increasingly prioritizing these competencies in today's job market.
We have invited the University Fund Board and the other government agencies to come and together we explain to our students how the government is sponsoring the students now in the new funding model. We have exposed students to the expected knowledge in the world of employment. And therefore, my major expectation after this is that we have prepared the students, given them the opportunity to see tomorrow.
Elsewhere, boarding school dormitory doors should be at least 5 feet wide and should be open outwards. The dormitories should also have emergency exits at the middle and back, and windows must be without grills and should be easy to open outwards. This is according to the Ministry of Education's School Safety Guidelines for Disaster and Risk Reduction. Regina Manyara looks at the safety guidelines laid down to avert loss of life and destruction of property in learning institutions as a result of fire outbreaks.
Data indicates that fire disasters in schools have become common, pointing to a fact that most institutions may not be adhering to the stipulated guidelines. Schools are required to, among others, post a blueprint map of the buildings, classrooms, dormitories and hallways, and include installment of serviceable fire extinguishing machines. There should be a telephone tree list including names of employees, pagers, teachers and parents for contact in case of an emergency. Paramount of all this is that fire drills should be carried out as often as possible to boost preparedness. Dormitories should also have emergency exits at the middle and back, and windows must be without grills and should be easy to open outwards. Fire extinguishers and fire alarms should also be fitted in the dormitories in case of a fire outbreak. To avert such disasters, the government incorporated personal safety and psychosocial skills training in the curricula for basic and tertiary institutions following the signing into law of the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development Amendment Bill of 2019. In view of these latest school fires, who is to blame? Is it a lapse in judgment, contravention of guidelines, human error, or malfunction of equipment? Who bears the blame for the senseless loss of lives in schools? Regina Manyara for KBC Channel 1.
Thank you, Regina Manyara, for that particular update. Those are the guidelines that the ministry has spelled out for various boarding schools within the nation, and that needs to be abided to, of course, to avert such kind of incidences that we have witnessed this morning at the Hillside Academy in Nyeri County. As and when we get more details on that particular tragedy, we'll be briefing you. And in other news, the national government has commenced the construction of 955 affordable housing units in Nyahururu town, Laikipia County. Now, according to the Central Region Director of Housing, Albert Gakuru Mushiri, the units will provide a decent housing for the residents. During an inspection tour of the construction site, Mushiri revealed that the houses to be constructed will feature a range of housing options for the locals to choose from once complete.
If we are doing 955 units, can be sure if those all blocks start together, we'll be having 300 young men working here every day. Huyu jamaa labda kona hardware atakuwa analeta mchanga hapa na mtu mwingine atakuwa anafanya kazi hapo. So tunafanya hii kazi yote kusaidia wananchi. And because we have agreed that land is now very scarce, we need to start maximizing and planning.
This project is kicking off. And we are with the contractor here today. We are just sorting out a few issues of removing amenities like power and water, and the work starts immediately.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has released some 3.4 billion shillings for August 2024 payment to beneficiaries enrolled under the Inua Jamii program. This follows President William Ruto's directive to upscale the program to 2.5 million beneficiaries, which will be done in phases. Inua Jamii program is a government cash transfer initiative that supports the most vulnerable members of the community. Long-distance truck drivers are calling on the government to find ways of dealing with traffic snarl-ups at the Malaba one-stop border post. The drivers say the traffic, which now stretches 32 kilometers from Kandui in Bungoma County, has forced them to spend the past week on the road. The drivers are also alleging stigmatization amid the ongoing screening for Mpox.
Changamoto kubwa sana. Hasa kutokea ugonjwa wote itakayotokea ugonjwa wote ile yasijua dereva na anakuja na ugonjwa.
Naomba mwongozi ya Kenya na mwongozi ya Uganda wakutane watengeleze hiki kitu. Sisi wa driver tunatembea saa nyingine hata tunalala njaa.
Ningependa serikali kama inaweza kuwatengea parking ya madereva waweze kuongeza magari zao, kama plani ndefu, kama karatasi imekamilika ndio waweze kuvuka.
Now, residents living in riparian lands along Kiambeke through Kasikwe to Sultan Hamud have been told to relocate to safer grounds to harvest their farms to pave a way for the construction of a bridge that links those particular areas. This is a story we'll be giving to you any moment from now. But before that, we head over to another story where a section of residents from Nakuru West Sub-County have appealed to the county government to rebuild the poorly constructed River Ndarugo Bridge in Kaptembwa, which is prone, of course, flooding during heavy rains. Residents say the bridge is vital as it connects Barut and Kaptembwa regions, and its poor state has caused near-death experiences for locals trying to cross the flooded bridge. This has also forced many learners to skip school as it is impossible to access the respective education institutions.
Ni daraja ya kitambo sana. Hii daraja ilitengenezwa na wakoloni. Wakati upande huu ulikuwa ni mashamba ya makonge. Lakini tangu wakati huo hakuna chochote kimefanyika, tangu nafikiri ni miaka mingi sana, karibu 50 na kitu. Kwa hiyo tungeomba serikali iweze kuzingatia, kwa sababu daraja hii ndio inatusaidia sisi. Kwa sababu haipitiki, wameamua kutengeneza daraja lingine pale alternative. Hiyo daraja ni ya miti.
Na watoto ambao wanaenda shule na wanahitaji kuvuka, sasa inatugharimu, saa nyingine hauna pesa ya kulipa wenye wanawavukisha. Sasa imekuwa ni changamoto mingi sana.
Juzi kuna mtoto mdogo tu alikuwa anavuka hapa, akaanguka kwa maji na sisi ndo tukaingia kwa maji na kumtoa. Kama tungekuwa mahali hapa, watu wenyewe wangebebwa na maji.
And in other news, athletes drawn from Iten in Elgeyo Marakwet County and a union dubbed Typros Angels have condemned the increased cases of gender-based violence targeting athletes. The union that defends the rights of athletes against gender-based violence in the country, led by their chairperson, Juan Chilimo, called on any athletes who experience any form of violence and injustice to come forward and report the matter. The athletes have also called on the government to ensure justice is served to their fallen colleagues. The calls comes amid an uproar over the death of Ugandan athlete, that is Rebecca Cheptegei, who succumbed to injuries sustained during an alleged assault by an ex-boyfriend.
There are other ways of finding solutions to our misunderstandings, but we feel like it's not going to end. And in fact, the way we feel is that this issue is actually going up. A few months ago, we were on the roads in January, walking to end femicide.
Nataka kuomba serikali na kuomba wenzetu wenye tuko bunge na wale wenye wako national pale kwa bunge, tunaweza weka sheria ambayo inazingatia kabisa mambo ya gender based violence. Tunataka kuhimiza koti zetu itusaidie kama wanawake, kama wanaweza tusaidia ku fast track hizi cases na kutawachilia watu tu hivyo hivyo.
Let's come back here to the capital. Kenyans living in informal settlements have been urged to embrace the upgraded houses constructed by the government under the Affordable Housing Program. Now, addressing the media on Friday, the director Slum Upgrading, Merindogo, said they are currently constructing Phase C, which will have over 10,000 units as the social enumeration process of the beneficiaries is underway. She added that over 800 units, over 4,000 units were built in Phase A and B. The project, which was known as Upgrading Kibera, will now be referred to as a social housing.
Kenyans may not understand why you have really to go let the people who live in the slums continue living there. But they are Kenyans. As much, they really contribute a lot. They really contribute a lot in the economic base because the kidogo economy is foul there and they buy in mass. So it's an interesting area that as the State Department of Housing and Urban Development, the government must continue upgrading those areas. Wanalipa hizo nyumba nakaa in the same cost. Ile inafanya ni watu wanaogopa, hataki kubadilisha maisha yako au nia yao. Ni mzuri watu waanze kufikiria kwa sababu hiyo nyumba unakaa ni ya mabati, iko haina choo, haina bafu, haina jia, haina labda hata hiyo stima unalipia, na vile hata wale wamefanya research wengi wanaona wale wanaishi huko wanalipa pesa mingi hata kuliko wale wanaishi sehemu nzuri.
And now let's get down to business. The first cotton ginnery in Lamu County with a capacity of processing 20,000 metric tons of cotton annually has been operationalized, offering farmers in the area a ready market for the cash crop. Here is Regina Manyara with the details.
Production to more than 50,000 metric tons annually by 2030. However, cotton production plunged to a low of 3,495 metric tons in 2023, partially attributed to influx of second-hand clothes and high cost of production. The operationalization of the Sinambio Lamu ginnery is expected to boost cotton farming in Lamu, which has huge potential.
Kwa ukulima wa pamba utasaidia kwa akina mama kwa kulima. Sasa ukiuza unapata pesa. Unaweza kuja hapo ukafanya kazi ukapata pesa unajisaidia katika maisha yako na watoto wako.
According to Lake Kenyatta Farmers Association chairperson Julius Masharia, the ginnery will offer a ready market for the cash crop and edge out unscrupulous middlemen who have been exploiting local farmers.
Kwa hivyo ukipatikana unanunua cotton mahali popote katika Lamu County na hujapitia kwa Lake Kenyatta, hiyo tayari utakuwa umevunja sheria, na mimi niko na hicho kibali cha kuweza kufanya kwamba uweze kushikwa na upelekwe ndani, kwa sababu hiyo ni regulation ya serikali.
The ginnery is part of the 700 million shillings proposed Lamu Cotton Industrial Park that will also feature garment and fiber processing. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
Safaricom has rolled out a training program for small businesses at the coast seeking to equip entrepreneurs with knowledge that will enable them scale their businesses through technology. Now, on that particular note, let's get more from our very own.
Opportunity to exchange ideas on how they can leverage digital technologies to enhance their market reach, streamline operations, and create a strong brand presence online. The forum targets to equip the entrepreneurs with knowledge and to scale their businesses.
This series is particularly curated to enable small businesses to come and learn about those solutions, network with other businesses, as well as give them a forum to think about their business transformation and growth.
When you're able to bring all these small businesses and micro enterprises owners into one forum where they're able to share ideas and network, and then in the process also get to know more on how to do business and how to leverage on the opportunities that are available.
Elsewhere, Java House CEO Priscilla Gathungu says there's a need for greater investment in community initiatives, particularly those focused on supporting children's growth and development.
Mentoring these children will be of great importance because we want these children to grow, to be people like us, people who can take care of this nation.
Mentorship is a really big component of improving education outcomes, and having an organization like Java bring in industry experts, bring in people from a whole range of sectors.
It's a responsibility to give back because the communities have really supported Java over the 25 years. So it's not sustainability, it's responsibility.
Java House has launched the Kuza Mentorship Program, targeting to offer leadership and talent development sessions for students.
The government intends to work closely with the private sector to identify new business opportunities in the European Union in renewed efforts of a bigger pie of 13 trillion shillings market. Investment and Trade Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria says traders are being sensitized on the market regulations in the European Union to boost exports.
In our strategy for implementation of the Kenya-EU EPA, we will work closely with the private sector so that they can identify markets, finance trade, add value to the product, and produce sustainably with regard to a high standard for environment and labor.
And we especially encourage young people. We need all your creative talent to go into that space with innovative ideas, to create new jobs, to create new businesses, new opportunities.
And now finally, welcome to the world of sports. We start off with some good news where Olympic champion Beatrice Chebet and Olympic bronze medalist Mary Moraa won their 5,000 and 800 meters races respectively at the latest Diamond League meeting held last night in Zurich. Now the season ends next weekend with the final leg in Brussels.
Olympic champion Beatrice Chebet clocked 14 minutes 09.52 seconds to win the 5,000 meters at the Zurich Diamond League meeting, as compatriot Mary Moraa clocked 1 minute 57.08 seconds to win the 800 meters.
Moraa, though, 5 meters ahead of everybody else, 157.08. Well, she didn't panic when Maloney went with the pace.
Reynold Cheriot, Timothy Cheriot and Boaz Kiprugut finished in 6th, 11th and 14th positions respectively in the men's 1500 meters won by Jared Neguse of the United States, as Jacob Ingebrigtsen of Norway settled for second position. Shah Kari Richardson recovered from a poor start to win the women 100 meters in 10.84 seconds ahead of Olympic champion Julian Alfred.
Richardson takes it. Richardson and Alfred both easing past Asher Smith in the last 20.
Grant Holloway of the United States clocked 12.99 seconds to win the 110-meter hurdles.
Stamping his authority on this, and Holloway well ahead here. So Holloway got a couple of meters and right over on the far side. Close there. Joy running a great race. 13:01.
Letsile Tebogo of Botswana won the 200 meters in 19.55 seconds.
Meter runner, but can Tebogo get back to him? Here he comes. Is there going to be enough track? Yes, there is. Times it to perfection.
And on the tennis court, home favourite Jessica Pegula staged a stunning comeback to set up an enticing US Open final against world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka. Pegula defeated Karolina Muchova in the semi-final, while Sabalenka stunned Emma Navarro in the other semi-final.
American Jessica Pegula came back from a set break and a break point down to see off Karolina Muchova 1-6, 6-4, 6-2 and reach a first major singles final.
Jessica Pegula is in the US Open final. 6-4, 6-2.
She will now face Aryna Sabalenka, who powered into the final for the second year in a row with a 6-3 victory over American Emma Navarro. The Belarusian is the first women player since the great Serena Williams in 2019 to reach back-to-back singles finals at Flushing Meadows.
Second match, Sabalenka by Tusastilava 6-2, 7-6.
That concludes our day's sports, and of course, given that it is the international break, some of the major leagues in Europe have taken a break on that particular note. And of course, before I go, I need to recap our today's story. This is our focus, our dear viewers, and of course, this will also be exacerbated in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. It is the tragedy that has befell Hillside Academy in Nyeri County, where we do have our very own, that is Kevin Washira, who will be on the ground, as well as government institutions are already on the ground to assess the situation, with the president, of course, giving directions all the way from China. You can see the death toll is at 17 and 14 have been injured. And of course, those injured, we do hope they will recover. Now, some have been taken to Madare Mission Hospital in Nyeri County Referral Hospital for treatment. And this afternoon, we're being informed as well, the Health Cabinet Secretary, that is Dr. Baraza, will be visiting the Kenyatta National Hospital Emergency Wing to see its preparedness for emergencies and casualties, and of course to visit some of the people who were injured during that particular incident. Now, in that particular institutions, the dormitories that have been affected house boys from grade 4 to 8. Now, remember, this particular institution boards with day scholars as well as who board the institutions and sleep inside there. That is why a total of 156 boys who are residing in that particular dormitory that was raised down by the inferno have been affected. Emergency services are still determining the final number of fatalities, with updates to follow as more information becomes available as and when we get them. Now, some of the ongoing interventions that the government has been able to put in place is supply of dry foods and other essential items. 50 bags of rice and 50 bags of beans are en route to the site via special programs. 100 mattresses and 100 blankets are also being dispatched with an estimated arrival time any moment from now this afternoon. Those students and the parents alike will be getting some of these amenities, and the tutors as well. The Ministry of Health and the county government Health Department of Nyeri are on site assessing the medical needs by those affected. The Pankjan Foundation has donated 50 first aid kits, which will be sent to the site via the ODP. MP Shah Hospital is also sending a medical consumable to help those affected. And the State Department of Education has just released a statement, including what you're just seeing on the screen from the President, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the country's second in command, and the former Prime Minister. Now, of course, the State Department of Education, we have just been informed that the Education Cabinet Secretary, Julius Migos, will be arriving in the country to, of course, go to that particular institutions and condole with the family and offer any aid the government can, especially from the Ministry of Education's department. Now, some of the counselling services and immediate needs are being offered by Red Cross, providing critical counselling services to the victims and families. Additional tents, blankets and medical supplies are being coordinated by Red Cross and Special Program. There you have it. Those are the figures we have for you, but from the officials, we are waiting to be addressed. We are waiting to see the latest And there you have it. Those are the statement from the president. Our thoughts are with the families who have lost their lives in the fire tragedy at the Hillside Academy in Nyeri County. This is a devastating news. We pray for speedy recovery to the survivors, to thoroughly investigate this horrific incident. To the investigators, those responsible will be held accountable. The government and the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government is mobilizing the necessary resource to support the affected families. The President clearly stating pole sana to the family members. The Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has also issued a statement where he stated that I join the nation in expressing my deepest condolences to the families and loved ones affected by the tragic fire at Hillside and Arasha Academy in Nyeri County, which has claimed precious lives of young pupils. As investigators proceed, they have urged the members of the public as well as parents to ensure that they wait for the government's response on this particular issue. And of course, the government clearly stating they are yet to ascertain the true damage and the true figures of what has transpired within that particular institution. There you have it, another one from the former Prime Minister. My heartfelt condolences go out to the families, friends and school fraternity who have lost their loved ones in the devastating fire tragedy at the Hillside and Arasha Academy. May God grant them all the strength during these difficult moments and swift recovery to those injured. Those are the statement of the leaders and other education officials as well as other leaders within the confines of this particular country who have condoled with the family, including organizations. Now, elsewhere, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Gilbert Masengeli, says investigations are underway to unravel the cause of the dawn fire that claimed 17 lives at the Hillside and Arasha Academy. Speaking during a consultative security meeting between police and the county bosses, the IG said teams are already on the ground collecting evidence. He, at the same time, assured Kenyans of their security.
As we talk today, the investigations are underway. Hiyo shule ya Endarasha ambayo ni Hillside Academy, kuna wale walioaka na kuna wale ambao wamekuwa admitted katika Nyeri Provincial Hospital. Na katika harakati investigation inaendelea kwa sababu nao kuna timu zetu zile ziko kwa ground, na habari kamili ikipatikana tutawajulisheni. Our coming here was to have an interaction with the regional police security committees and the county police commanders at the coast region, just to know how they are faring on, security measures that are put in place to ensure that security and Kenya is secure, and also to appreciate them for the good work they've been doing to ensure that they've minimized criminal activities and crime being managed very well, as we also appreciate the members of the public for the cooperation and goodwill they have been working together with the police to ensure safety is there and all over this region. On regard of the criminal, nobody is above the law, and anybody found dealing with drugs or any other criminal activity will be apprehended, will be arraigned in court of law, and due process will take its course.
Well, that is the acting IG speaking, of course, on this particular issue that we're also talking about, of course, ascertaining the security of the country at large as well. We want to take you down once more on the history of the school fires that have been witnessed in the country. Back in 1991, we have St. Kizito Secondary School in Tigania, that school, Tigania fire, where unfortunately we lost 19 girls died after boys stormed their dormitory. That was witnessed back in the early 90s. In 1998, 26 girls died at the Bombululu Girls Secondary School in Mazeras. We also do have in 2001, 67 boys died at that particular institution in Machakos County. And of course, we do have other figures for you. In 2010, in Darasha Boys Secondary School, where unfortunately 2 students died. 2012, Sumbi Girls Boarding Primary School, 8 students died. And of course, after that, in 2012, we have 2017, Moi Girls High School, 10 students perished, unfortunately, in that particular incident. And other stories that we have prepared for you this afternoon, focusing on that fire tragedy that has been witnessed at the Hillside Academy. We'll be giving you more details in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9 p.m. We do have our very own Kevin Washira, who is currently on the ground. And of course, the president has already spoken all the way from China. And he will, of course, has already directed various government institutions as well as security apparatus to ensure that they get to the bottom of this particular issue. As I told you earlier on, the Health Cabinet Secretary, that is Dr. Baraza, is currently headed to the Kenyatta National Hospital to assess the emergency wing of that particular health institutions in preparedness of some of the people who have been injured to receive treatment in that particular facility. Already some who have arrived at that particular health institution. She will be able to talk to them and, of course, get a sense of what happened in that Thursday night inferno. That will be our wall-to-wall coverage in this particular evening. But for now, I need to hand you over to a normal programming. And, of course, we'll duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. But you can always find more on our webpage at www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Anne Wangeshi. Good afternoon for now.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima tundizi.
Walianza kutupatia mbegu kama 10-20. Basi tulipopanda zile, basi tukaona hizo zina manufaa zaidi kuliko zile zetu za mwanzoni.
Kisha tujifunze kuhusu mafuta ya nazi.
Mafuta yetu ni meupe kabisa, kwa sababu ni ya kunywa na ni ya kupikia.
Alafu tuelekee Ganze, tukuze makonge.
Kilimo cha mkonge kilinipatia ajira mimi na kimenifundishia watoto na wale ambao wako karibu na mimi wanakula hiyo kilimo ya makonge.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1.
Jana ikobu.
Useme tuliko umekuja kuniona alafu unacheza chini.
Unajua Jackie yuko amechizi, ni venye tujuange akimeza dawa.
Really? Thank you, Jen. I hope I'm not interrupting anything here.
Nini umempatia?
What do you mean?
You know that man talks more about you than our relationship.
Oh, really?
Maki ana hata ubishi. How comfortable are you here?
Mwanaume anapenda mtu mwenye anamsikiza, anamuelewa na anamuheshimu.
I am not stupid. Sawa. I know when I'm being shortchanged.
This is crazy.
You need to put your mood swings on check.
Differently. When it comes to disabilities, we should understand that disability is diverse, and none of the disabilities that we have in this world is better than the other.
Mtoto akilia kidogo sio kumnyamazisha na simu. Akililia simu ajiangushe chini. When we grew up, you cried for a sweet. Your mother would not buy.
Before you're empowered, first you should love yourself. Kwa sababu being person with disability, it's not an easy task. Kwa sababu kuna stigma.
Our goal is to raise awareness, challenge misconceptions, and celebrate the resilience and contributions of persons with disabilities.
As soon as you log on to social media, you get loads of recommendations on how to become more beautiful. But did you ever ask yourself who decides what beauty is? Many would say it lies in the eye of the beholder. But it's hard to ignore what we see online, especially if nearly $430 billion backs the industry. We have a lot to unpack about this topic, so welcome to the 77%. I am your host, Fatih Elika Muloshi. Have you ever scrolled through your social media feed and felt like you are overwhelmed with endless beauty tips? We asked our audience on Facebook what beauty means to them. And Flomo Patrick from Liberia wrote, decent character, that's sweet. That Seth from Ghana said, beauty means your character, personal hygiene, and self-esteem you have about your personality, as well as how you relate with others. And Levish Tone said, personal appearance, natural color, and social coexistence. Now, we love the fact that you mentioned those inner values, but we have our doubts that these are the only factors. An international study shows that people globally invest up to 4 hours daily into their beauty routines. That's astonishing, isn't it? We put the question to our followers on Instagram, and 87% consider beauty highly or somewhat important. Only 13% say it's irrelevant. Interestingly, 42% say they're even lucky if they brush their teeth. But let's get into this whirlwind of beauty standards and social media with a friendly chat between my two colleagues, Favor and Rachel.
Have beauty standards finally gone too far? With social media, everyone can see and try out new beauty tips.
It means anyone can learn how to use the right beauty care product and the right eyeliner.
But it also comes with a lot of pressure. It feels like every day there's a new look or products that everyone is talking about.
Trying to keep up with them can be tiring, and this can also cost you a lot of money.
For example, fuller lips and bushy eyebrows is what's trending right now.
And the mob wife look is blowing up on TikTok.
It's cool that social media lets everyone share and learn about beauty, but does it also make you feel like you need to follow every trend?
The constant pressure of viewing these edited images can mess with your mental health, especially if it expects you to conform to society's beauty standards.
It can lead to body dissatisfaction and low self-esteem. There's even a condition called Snapchat dysphoria, where people go to desperate lengths to look like the filtered version of themselves.
The good news is that social media also encourages body positivity. This can help one to be more self-acceptant and also promote self-image.
So next time you compare yourself to an idealized beauty trend, just remember that social media dramatically influences our perception of beauty.
And what's trending today may be outdated tomorrow.
Thank you, girls. That was definitely on point. Let's now take a closer look at what exactly is behind the beauty standards. Where do they come from? Who initiates them? What do we do to live up to them? And what price are we prepared to pay for that? We asked this question in our street debate in Ghana, and here is how it went.
Perhaps you can begin by explaining to us what these ideals are, particularly here in Ghana.
In our present
consumer capitalist culture, the body is on constant display. And in Ghana, beauty standards have become very important to young women. So there are all sorts of activities that are being taken by urban Ghanaian women to shape and sculpt their bodies in different ways, from toning their skin, bleaching their skin, wearing waist trainers to shape their bodies in a certain way.
We have someone here who's actually gone through some of these modifications you're talking about. Fakadi is a social media sensation here in Ghana, and she has also openly spoken about, bleaching your skin or correcting your body in one way or another. Can you tell me why it is you felt you needed to do this?
Because basically I thought of lightening my skin to fit into the criteria of girls the men are interested in. On the social media platform, when you're a bit lighter, you get more attention. You get deals from maybe model contracts and all that.
Yeah, but I've also heard it said here in Ghana that specific advertisements for jobs will ask for fairer skinned women. And I want to find out if you've had this level of thinking where you're like, am I not good enough because of my skin tone?
I haven't personally on a personal scale, but she's completely right. It's not just an individual level, not just like a male gaze. It's the entire industry. There's a beauty currency. And that's why we need to expand what it means to be beautiful. Whatever your features are, whether your nose is big, whether your lips are full, that is beautiful.
Why? How did we get here? Why is it that we as Africans, black Africans, are in a black society and we're still yearning for westernized beauty ideals?
In everything that we see around our advertisements, you see a predominantly lighter representation of Ghanaian women. So we grow up looking at these pictures and consciously or unconsciously we internalize this. It's a very long, history of, colonization, and we internalizing that.
Do you think if you were slightly darker, if your figure was more like mine and less like yours, you would get less work?
Yes, you will get the job, but the payment, there's difference in it.
Do you feel like you're doing something harmful to the young Ghanaians who are following you when they see you advertising products to lighten their skin?
Then you don't have to follow me then.
Where are these products coming in through? Where are they coming from?
There are people, because of their intention and what they want to do, will smuggle them in. Glutathione has medicinal value, but it's not been approved as a cosmetic product. And no product, if you take in or you swallow or inject, can be a cosmetic product. Cosmetic products are used on the surface of the skin.
So basically, there's no such thing as safe skin lightening?
There's nothing like that.
So the reasons are numerous. If you want to watch a longer version of this discussion, check it out on our YouTube channel. However, considering what we just heard, my question is, why bleach your skin?